A legacy marred Winston Churchill and the Bengal Famine. Winston Churchill was a towering figure in British history. He is best known for his leadership during World War II. As Prime Minister, Churchill rallied the British people against Nazi Germany. His wartime speeches inspired millions across the globe. However, Churchill's legacy is also intertwined with a tragic event, the Bengal Famine of 1943. This famine, which claimed millions of lives in India, remains a controversial aspect of his leadership. Churchill's wartime policies, particularly those concerning India, have been subject to intense scrutiny and debate. Critics argue that his actions exacerbated the famine and led to unnecessary suffering. Understanding the Bengal famine requires a closer look at the historical context and the decisions made by Churchill's government. The Gathering Storm, contextualizing the Bengal famine. The Bengal famine unfolded during a tumultuous period in world history, marked by global conflict and upheaval. World War II was raging, and India, then under British rule, was deeply affected by the ongoing conflict. The war effort placed immense strain on India's resources, stretching them to their limits. The Japanese occupation of Burma, now Myanmar, cut off a vital rice supply line to Bengal, exacerbating the crisis. This created a severe food shortage in the region, leaving many without sustenance. The colonial administration's policies further aggravated the situation, making it even worse. The British government prioritized wartime needs over civilian requirements in India, neglecting the local population. Food grains were diverted to British troops and war reserves, leaving Bengal with inadequate supplies to feed its people. This confluence of factors, coupled with natural disasters like cyclones, created the perfect storm for a devastating famine, leading to widespread suffering. Churchill's policies, a catalyst for catastrophe. Churchill's wartime policies have been criticized for their role in exacerbating the Bengal famine. His government's decision to prioritize wartime needs over civilian requirements in India proved disastrous. The diversion of food grains to British troops and war reserves left Bengal with insufficient supplies to feed its population. Moreover, Churchill's response to the unfolding crisis has been condemned as inadequate and insensitive. Despite receiving reports of widespread starvation, his government was slow to provide aid. Some historians argue that Churchill's wartime prejudices against Indians influenced his decisions, leading to a delayed and insufficient response to the famine. Section 4. The devastating toll human suffering in the Bengal famine. The Bengal famine had a devastating impact on the Indian people, causing widespread suffering and despair. Millions perished from starvation and related diseases, with entire families being wiped out. The exact death toll remains debated, but estimates range from 2 to 4 million, highlighting the scale of the tragedy. The famine left an indelible mark on the collective memory of Bengal, shaping its history forever. The images of skeletal figures, mass graves, and desperate pleas for help continue to haunt the historical record and our conscience. The famine exposed the vulnerabilities of a colonial system that prioritized imperial interests over the welfare of its subjects, revealing deep systemic flaws. It remains a stark reminder of the human cost of political decisions made during times of war and crisis, a lesson for future generations.